Well, welcome back into the Vintage Farmhouse and Vintage and Antiques video channel. The China teacup and saucer we've got in front of you this morning is a piece of English bone china, porcelain, made under the brand of Gainsborough. Bone china made in England, classic, arch-sided. This isn't really a Montrose type, it's little along those lines, the design of this teacup, but it's a plain rimmed standard bone china teacup. Now Gainsborough is quite an interesting brand. A lot of confusion over it. People try researching it and they get nowhere. They can't find anything about this. So a little bit of information about Gainsborough and this classic china mark, the Victorian lady's bust with a large hat, which was used during a period from 1955 through to the 1970s, principally by the Ridgway group of potteries. Now, Ridgway was an amalgamation of quite a few different potters that really were struggling in the 1940s and 50s post-war period, and were all drawn under a single company management, which was between 1955 and 64, the Ridgway Group. And this incorporated quite a few factories, including the Gainsborough Works, which came under the Adelaide's factory production for many years before that. But the Ridgway Group incorporated Coalclough, Adelaide's, Booth's, and quite a few different factories. And during the period of amalgamation, several brands were produced along the same production lines. And Gainsborough is one of those brands that was being sold in the mid-price range for mass market, principally UK market, but also export around the Commonwealth and what I suppose in those days was still the British Empire. It's going out all over to mass markets. These teacups are in very fine condition considering their age. Standard scalloped rim saucer. Haven't done the measurements yet. They will be on the description. It's a sort of classic, slightly pale blue and white on an absolutely brilliant white porcelain, quite thin translucent porcelain. It's well made, this. Quite often with Gainsborough you'll see, because it's not really to the quality of some of the other porcelain was produced, the base plates are quite often with these little indents in them. That's quite characteristic of Gainsborough. The end quality control, should we say, with some of this wasn't quite as good as you were getting on the similar production coming out of the factory for the Coalclough brand, say, or the Ridgway brand, or the Adelaide's brand that was being produced, or Booth's at the time. This really was something they were producing to a price for a mass market, but it's nonetheless very nice porcelain quality, nice pattern. We'll put a link in the description below taking you through to the listing for this. We've got a Part T set that we're listing in this pattern. Not to be confused with the Gainsborough pattern manufactured by Queen Anne, which is, again, a little confusing for a lot of people. They say Gainsborough and the big well-known Queen Anne pattern, which was being produced around the same period, called Gainsborough, is a sort of green and white floral design, very striking, but nothing to do with this brand. That is Queen Anne, a completely different branding. Okay, thanks for watching.